Now, I'm going to work some problems, but I got to tell you, the way to get the most out of a video like this is to pause the video before I work the problems and see if you can do it yourself. Take out some paper, some graph paper, preferably, but it doesn't have to be graph paper, and make a rough graph and see if you get something close to what I've done. So, assuming you have done that for number one, I'm going to go ahead and do my own interpretation of this, my own solution to this. So, I've got these two inequalities, and we're calling this a system of inequalities. So, we're considering them together, and we're looking for what would be a solution to both of them. So, we've got y is greater than 4x minus 3. So, we'll start off by graphing the boundary line. And so our boundary line would be y, a dashed line, since it's or equal to, of y equals 4x minus 3. So the y-intercept is right here, negative 3. So I'm going to plot -3, 0, -3 as a y-intercept. And then I will plot using the slope of 4 of up 4 over 1 and up 4 over 1 again. Okay, and I'll go ahead and graph that line. It's going to be a dashed line, so I'm just going to, I'll do dots actually, because that's a little easier to do with this utility. So I'm going to do dots now, and then a little arrow on either end. And then it would be useful for me to figure out which side is going to be shaded. So since 0, 0 is not on the line, I'll use 0, 0 as a test point. So 0 is greater than 4 times 0, so that's just 0, minus 3. So that tells me that this side is shaded. So everything on this side of this line is shaded because 0, 0 does get to be part of the party. So I can just go fum, 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 like that. Now, I'll pick a different color to graph the other equation. Y is greater than or equal to negative 2x plus 3. So I'll plot the y-intercept here at 3. It's going to be a solid line because it's or equal to. The slope is negative 2. That means I'm going to go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. So from here, down 2 over 1. I nearly made a mistake of going down 3. Down 2 over 1. Down 2 over 1. And I can also go back here and go up 2, back 1. And that will be a slope of negative 2. And now it's a solid line, so I'll draw a solid line through those points. And then it's a question of which side gets shaded. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make y equal to 0 and x equal to 0. So that's going to be 0 is greater than or equal to negative 2 times 0 will be 0 plus 3. And what that ends up saying is 0 is bigger than 3, which is nope. So 0, 0 is not on the winning side of this one. So this one is shading in this direction. Now, let's look at what the overlap is. Since this one is shading in that direction, our overlap is in this area here. This is our solution zone, including this part of the line because it's an or equal to line. So this is our solution area, everything within this wedge. I had a little goof there. It's not there, but get rid of that. So anything in this wedge is the solution. All right, let me pause and erase things so I can go ahead and do one that is with standard form. Now we're going to take a look at number 9 here. And once again, the thing to do is to pause the video and see if you can work this out yourself. So number 9 is 4x plus 3y is greater than negative 6, and x minus 3y is less than or equal to negative 9. And we're trying to come up with a solution to this system of inequalities. They're being considered together, so you need to graph each inequality and see where they overlap. So hopefully you've paused the video by now and you've given it a try. You can pause at any point. Once you get the sense of it, you should pause and give it a try. If you weren't able to do it on the first round, that's fine. But go ahead and pause me. I'll wait. It's fine. So let's go ahead and start thinking this through now that you've definitely worked this through a bit and you've got some ideas of what you might need to do. This is a standard form. So the first thing to do is graph the boundary line. And since it's not or equal to, it'll be a dashed boundary line. So we're going to graph this like we're graphing the line 4x plus 3y equals negative 6. Now, the x-intercept is going to not be terribly neat and tidy. It's negative 6 over 4 or negative 3 over 2. It's not horrible, but it's not great. We could plot it, but I would rather plot things with neater and tidier grid lines. So I'm going to focus on the y-intercept, which is when x is 0, so I don't care about 4x. I get 3y would be equal to negative 6, so y would be equal to negative 6 over 3, which would be negative 2. So I'll get a y-intercept here at negative 2. And then I'm going to look at my slope. My slope, again, is negative of a over b. And that was a cheat code I talked to y'all about when we were doing standard form way back in level 5D of linear. So a is 4, b is 3, and then we're going to take a negative. So that'll be negative 4 over 3. So negative, we'll take the opposite of 4 over 3. Now, so we can use that to plot. So that's going to be down 4 over 3. Now, down 4 over 3 is going to have us somewhere around here. But, like I said, I'd rather be on the grid line, so I'm going to go backwards. So up 4, back 3. And that works a lot better. So I'm going to have a dashed line going like this between these points. This is not included in our inequality, but we can now test a point to see which side is going to be shaded. So there's our boundary line. And what we're going to do, if we test 0, 0, that's our easiest one. And we say, okay, x is 0, y is 0. So that's going to be 4 times 0 and 3 times 0. So that's just 0 plus 0. It's all 0. So 0 is greater than negative 6. That's true. So I'm going to plot a point here. That is one of the shaded, one of the things that will be legit for that inequality. Now let's figure out the other one. I'm going to pick a different color. So now over here I've got x minus 3y is less than or equal to negative 9. If y is 0, it's just x is less than or equal to negative 9. So I've got an x-intercept at negative 9. That's way out here. That's not helping me very much. Let's focus on the y-intercept. Negative 9 over negative 3 will be 3. So I'll have a y-intercept here at 3. So I've got this one I can plot, but it'll probably be easiest if I just use the slope. So the slope negative, so it's going to be, that's a 1 and that's a negative 3. So I'm going to do negative of 1 over negative 3, which is just going to be 1 over 3. So the slope is 1/3. So I can go up 1 over 3 from here, and I can also backtrack down 1, back 3. This is a solid line because it's or equal to, and so I'll go ahead and plot that roughly like that. And then I just need to figure out which side is going to be shaded. So I'll pick 0, 0 again. So 0 minus 3 times 0 is just 0. And we're saying 0 is less than negative 9. That's not true. So instead, the other side is shaded for this one. And you might see that the overlap area is this area. So we've got this way and this way. So we can do an overlap zone of here. All of this is shaded over here. And this part of the line is included as well. So this is our solution to this system. All right, I'm going to stop at this